Hello, so I thought that I might just film a video out of the blue, no plans, just doing something of a bit of a bit of a whip parade, as it were. I've just been having some issues, I guess, with which relates to projects I'm currently working on, especially kind of really labor intensive projects. And I kind of want to celebrate finishing this cardigan that I'm wearing right now. This is the Puna cardigan, designed by Naringa Ruke, or known as Rook Knits on Instagram, as well as Ravelry. But yeah, I really love this cardigan. I like the colour, I like the pattern, I like the fit. It's got a bit of a bell sort of sleeve thing action going on. It's still missing some buttons, but I don't know whether I'll put them on anytime soon, but I'm going to be going for like snap style buttons. But yeah, I really like this, and this was a bit of a palette cleanser to project gone wrong, and it's kind of emblematic to a lot of the whips that I've got going on at the moment. So I just thought I'd talk about that. What else? So I knit this actually using sort of frogged yarn, which is Let Lopi. I'm going to just bring that there for you to see, which is obviously famous Icelandic wool. This was originally for a cable knit project, which I had to abandon because I started that going on to 3 years now, and I just have a very different body to what I was knitting for 3 years ago, so it would not have fit, and it was a lot of work that I'd put into it, and I loved the wool. So yeah, but I'm really happy with what I was able to get on here. So this has kind of been like a positive take from having to frog a whip. But yeah, let's move on to other things that I've been working on. So the project that this was a palette cleanser for is this bad boy here. So this is the Yule sweater by Susan Crawford from her Shetland book, which I got a PDF copy of. Just looking at this in the viewfinder, it looks so amazing, and I loved the entire process of knitting this. But I didn't really make it very easy for myself. I decided to use some yarn that I'd got from a scrap store, which is local to myself. I don't know if you have scrap stores where you guys are from, but it's kind of like not necessarily a junk shop, but it's a shop where usually companies kind of like donate items that they are dead stock, that kind of thing. And they had, hopefully this isn't this scrap bag of yarn, and I paid £20 for this. There was a lot more because obviously there's this here, and basically it was roughly 2 bowls of each colour in here. I'll let go of that because it's crinkly and noisy. But yeah, I made this item, and I was fairly confident I could get a whole very cropped jumper out of this. And yeah, it looks great. I knit a basically 2 gauge by using the wrong size needles. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a try on to show you why I had to take a breather from it and give myself a slightly easier win with the cardigan. So as you can see, it's a very cropped jumper, but it does fit. It's kind of got a good amount of ease on there. The mistake I think I made was the armhole depth. I think it's going to be too short. I think it's going to be uncomfortably tight on my arms, which will make me not want to wear it. So I'm basically going to have to frog all the way back down to where I split for the arms. Essentially, I cut the top half of this top and chuck it, because this was a steeked item. So I've already cut here. I've already sewn on my sewing machine the reinforcement, so I basically can't use anything above the armpit and up in terms of the wool, which then means that because it's a grab bag of an unidentified yarn, which I can't buy more of because I don't know what the yarn is, I'm gonna sacrifice the sleeves, re-knit from the armpit with some armhole shaping to make it into a vest, and then it can hopefully be like an all over sterile knit vest, and hopefully salvage it. Probably won't be able to see, but I've started picking up lifeline at the back. Here's the thread, where I'll hopefully cut and then figure out how to do the armhole shaping, and basically re-knit, do some arm and collar ribbing, and then be done. I think it will still look cute. I was very pleased to be able to get such a very impactful piece using essentially sort of thrifted. I don't know, what's like the British equivalent of thrifted, because that feels very American. Secondhand wool. I think it's wool. I've not actually done a burn test to see, but it's a single ply, very soft yarn in very great, highly saturated colours. But yeah, you can tell that it's very cropped because the t-shirt I'm wearing is cropped and they're basically the same length. But I think it would work. I think it would work. But I like it. Cool. So that was my last disaster. Also, I just want to say the floats on this are so satisfying. I would recommend this pattern. So yeah, that's that project. That'll be what I'll be working on soon. Okay, next WIP. This again is a stash buster. I was really struggling to think of what that word was. It's a stash busting project, but I knew I wanted it to be slightly elevated than just a striped jumper. I think I started this coming up to a year now, and I've really slowed it down. I really kind of powered through, and then summer hit and it became quite difficult for me to knit on, and it is so this is the I have 3 sets of needles on this, which is crazy. Both sleeves have needles and the body has needles, and there's a reason for that. So essentially this is the bag of yarn I'm using, and because I want to keep everything uniform, I have to ensure that I've got enough of each yarn colour every time I do it, so that I don't run out on like the red, so that I can't do it on the right sleeve, so on and so forth. So this is, I'm just gonna give a quick look. This is the Color Vibes by Sophie Kalana pattern. So you can find that on their website. That's where I got it from. But yeah, I'm using Drops alpaca wool, just held single for each yarn change and combination, and it's really nice. So there's two reasons to why I've basically slowed down on this pattern. I'm holding it backwards. I'm trying not to not to get the needles to clank against each other. But one, I started this I think in late spring, and when it was peak summer, it just became really difficult to work on. Alpaca is a very warm wool, and the feel on my hands and having it on my lap became a little bit too much sensory wise for myself. And the second reason again is due to when I started this project. So I started this project a year ago, and I'm definitely not the same body size and shape as I was back then. And so I am worried that this might not fit the way I want it to. I've tried it on several times and it does fit very comfortably. It's not tight. The pattern is meant to have some negative ease on there, but I generally don't like to wear negative ease jumpers because I'm usually wearing shirts and t-shirts underneath, and I need to not feel constricted. But it is knit with Drops Alpaca, which I've worked with in the past, and I know it has a lot of stretch, but I've never done an all over colour work like this. Let me just show you the floats so you can see that it is stranded on every single row. So you can see that. So I don't know if it will loosen up in the same way that I know it to when it's knit and stockinette. I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping I can block the ever-loving crap out of this, and when I handle this, it has a lot of stretch. Oh, did I just pop something out? No, I haven't. It has a lot of stretch, so, and it's not really deforming that much, so I'm hoping I can get about 5 inches widthwise after blocking. I probably will pick this up after doing the yawl, because it is very mindless. It is just 1 by 1 colour work. The unknowing thing is just like the multiple needles, but I really like this. I think I would get so much wear out of this once completed, and it looks beautiful. It looks so much more elevated than kind of like a quote unquote scrap project. You know, it looks so considered. And it's using a lot of the favorite colors, and most of these were gifted to me. And I think it's a fantastic use of this. So yeah, definitely carrying on with this one as is, no modifications. We'll hopefully block the crap out of it and get to wear it. Obviously, I think I've missed the best time for wearing this because it is March as we film, and summer's coming along, and alpaca is very, 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 very hot, and I don't like being overly warm in alpaca because as soon as I sweat it gets really itchy. The next WIP I have is it's a project I worked so hard on because it's a self-drafted project. It's a cardigan that I made and designed, and it uses, so I'm just going to pull this needle out because I know, spoiler alert, I'm going to scrap it. This is made out of West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab DK. So yeah, I'd started doing a double knit button band, but I think I have this much of the wool in the same colorway, and like maybe one or two like this, and I feel like that's actually not going to be enough for how large this cardigan is. Let's see. Yeah, so this is a garter ridge. I don't think you can really see it. I guess you can see it here. Garter ridge knit, so it's not stockinette. And yeah, I really wanted to love this. I worked so hard. I knit and re-knit. I did all the maths, but something about this I just don't love. It feels a little too open on the front. I don't know, I want it to be a little bit like closer to the neck. The colour is extremely functional. I can sort of see this as like a house jacket type cardigan. Doesn't have pockets, which was an oversight on my end. And the length is really, really good. You know, just long over the jeans. And I could sort of see this as something I'd like wear in my in the office, like for work. Very functional, very demure. But unfortunately, I just don't love it. I think the wool is really amazing, and I feel like actually I used the wrong size needle because it's a little too holy for my liking. I like the art, like just things about this doesn't quite sit and hit right. And if I'm gonna work on something, I want it to just be like chef's kisses, you know? And so because I don't love this and I spent so much money on the wool and I think the wool's amazing, I would like to repurpose it and do something more elevated by that. What that is, I don't know. So there you go. Yeah, I'm just frogging this with no plans for the wool. So it'd be good to get some wool back for this because it's a very like good functional colour. If I make a stockinette cardigan or jumper with this, I'll be very disappointed in myself. That's all I'm going to say about that. Last but not least, this is not a WIP because I finished it, but I've never worn it. And that to me is a little unacceptable. I'm going to put on the piece. I think most of you are going to recognise it straight off the bat. It was very popular. So you might be wondering, I said it's a WIP parade. What is this completed? Cardigan, jumper, sweater, as the American call it, doing here. So yeah, this is the Stripe Pipe by Veronica Lindberg. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but knitting takes a long time. So yeah, I knit this probably coming up to 2 years ago and I've never worn it. And that to me is such a shame. So I really like this piece actually. It uses the wool King Cole homespun double knit, which I think is a blended alpaca and let me see. So it's 22% merino superwash, 22% alpaca, 22% polyamide, 23% acrylic, and 10% viscose. So it's just everything kind of wool really. It's like everything but the kitchen sink. So that is oh my god, I'm really bad. Yeah, it's tweedy, flexy kind of wool, and it's really nice. It's a very light DK. It's just 2 plies, like you could probably, it's probably a sport, really. So yeah, I have no problem with the construction or the pattern. I'd recommend it if you like this sweater. But I knit this again almost 2 years ago, and like with everything else that has been languishing for a long time, I no longer have the body that I had 2 years ago. I've gained circumferences in certain places, and it doesn't fit the way that I would like most of my clothes to fit. I like clothes with positive ease, major amount of it, because I like wearing layers. So the arms are just too tight and too short. And yeah, my bind off is just insanely tight on both the neck and the waist. So that is something I'd like to change. So moving forward, I'd like to just frog all of this and reknit it, maybe 2 sizes up from my original sizing. I think I knit the second size for this at the time, so I'd like to go up 2 sizes from that. And I think it'd be a very wearable piece. It's very soft, this wool, and it's got, you know, the classic alpaca fluff and warmth to it for such a lightweight kind of jumper. And I think I wouldn't do the twisted rib because I don't like twisted rib. But yeah. So this is why this is a WIP, because it's due to be unravelled and reknit to fit my purposes. I think I've got enough of the oddments. I think the beige might be a struggle, but I'll work it out. I might make the coloured bands 1 or 2 like rows wider to compensate, but there we go. That's the plan, but again, it won't be for a while. I've got 2 or 3 other projects ahead of that, as well as lives and other hobbies and adulting. But yeah, that's the video. I wanted to talk about that, and now I've talked about it, and I'm gonna go carrying on picking up the stitches in the yawl and cut that off and put that on some live needles and do some maths. But yeah, thanks for watching this. I hope you liked it, or that it was good background videos, chat. But yeah, see you later. Alligator.